Welcome to Ready, Set, Plant with your host, Persy. I hope all of my plant enthusiast friends out there are doing very well. Today I have a special episode for you, in which we will prepare for spring. Yes, spring. That seems like such a distant idea at this point. However, we can never be too prepared or too hopeful to look into the future. I have some of our favorite plant friends here today. John, Sarah, and Margie. And they are going to help us with planting some new friends, mint, basil, and lavender. I will be showing you how to plant each one so you can grow it well into the warmer months. All we need is our planting kits, which I will show you when we get to that part. And we'll also need our trusty gloves. So we don't get dirt all over our hands, of course. And a little bit of water. Each of our plants, our new plants, will need 3/4 cup of water for them to dissolve the seeds in their little dirt medium. Again, I'll take you through the process step by step. Let's get to it. Before we get started today with planting our new friends, I want to take the time to point out that I have some rose quartz on the table that will allow us to imbue our new plants with love and good feelings. And before I start touching anything, I'm going to roll up my sleeves. Our first plant today is mint. And mint symbolizes protection from illness, warmth, fidelity, virtue, and we're going to do this process step by step alongside our little plant friends that we already have. Let's get into it now. So we're going to take our tin, which we can see says mint, and we're going to open it a bit. There's going to be little instructions inside on how to plant this. Here are our seeds. We'll put these to one side for now. And then we have what they call the plant medium, which is what we're going to put the seeds in when we plant them. Our first step is going to be putting 3/4 cup of water into our tin so we can dissolve the plant, this lovely dirt substitute in there, and then we'll let it sit and we'll plant our seeds. I already have a little bit of water for us here. You can hear that? It's in this little container. Very handy. Oop. Almost bumped our plant friend there. Very handy to have prepared before. I'm going to open it. Whew. And we got a little dribble in there already. Okay. Then we're going to pour it all the way into our tin. to let it sit and dissolve for a few minutes. All right, now that our medium has dissolved, we can see that the dirt and fertilizer substance has absorbed all of our water. It's very hungry, it's very thirsty to get our seeds in there. We have our seeds. And before I put my special gloves on to do our gardening with today, I will open the seeds just in case I cannot get them open when I have my gloves on. There we are. And I will put the seeds, open them a little bit because they're very small in there. You can't even see them. They're like little black dots to the side here. And get on my special gloves. My gloves are nice and green, like our favorite color, like our plant friends, like all of the special things we like to use every day. Now, I know I'm going to be excited to make tea with my mint when it grows, but you can use it for whatever you might like. I'm going to move our plant friend a little bit up to where our water was, and then we can start planting. So when we plant, we want to put the seeds about 1/4 of the way down into this medium. And we want to be very careful with our seeds because, again, they're very small. They're so small they don't even show up on camera very well here. So knock them in there. And did they come out? Most of them came out. All right. Yep, and they're all in there now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to push down and sort of distribute this medium out inside our tin, because our new plant friend's home, Arvin's home, is now this tin. If it gets a little too big, we can transfer it. That's just fine. But for now, it's going to grow in this nice tin as a nice pattern. Actually, the pattern matches our one plant friend here. How cute is that? It's so cute. So we're going to just press it evenly around. Get the dirt off my fingers here. Press it evenly. There we go. And now that this is done, we need to take a little plastic wrap and we need to put it over the tin because that is how it's going to grow. We also need to then put it in a nice space, a sunny, nice space, so he has a chance to spring up very quickly. We're not going to overwater him or anything like that because he has a lot of water in there right now. It's very moist. So let us get our plastic wrap out. Okay. All right. And then you can see our plastic wrap right here. And all we need is a little bit. So I'm going to tear it. Wonderful. And a little bit more. And we've got it. And that is our mint. Now we're going to put him in a sunny place, and we want the sunny place to be a little bit cooler and away from any animal friends we might have, because once this plant gets big, we will not want any of our animal friends to eat him, because then he would be not in good shape, and probably neither would our animal friends. Let's move on to our basil. As you can see, we've actually reset our setup here, and now we are going to be planting our friend Basil. Basil has an interesting origin that started in ancient Greek, where it was considered a symbol of hate. And then in the Victorian era, it became known as a symbol of love, and still is in Italy to this day. There's even some funny lore that in the Victorian era, if a woman gave a man basil, he would have to marry her. Let's get to planting our latest herb. So we're going to do the same process as we did before. Remove all of our materials from the tin, including our paper. And we're going to set the top to one side because we won't be needing it much anymore. And we're going to take our seeds out. Of our tin, and you can see there's our growing medium in there. I'm going to do the same thing as before, where we pour water into our growing medium in order for it to absorb and then expand, so we can put our seeds into their final home, at least for now. I already prepared some more water, and again, you're going to be using 3/4 cup of water. And I know last time I sped up through the growth medium process, but I want you to take a look at it now and also provide some really nice sounds. So let's open it. It's going to dribble water. I think this container just does that. All right, now you'll see that our growth medium is kind of floating in there, and it's going to eventually start lapping up all that water and getting bigger, and then you're going to start seeing the water disappear. And while that happens, I'm going to put on my special gloves that we use to plant the seeds with. And it's getting there. This one might need a little bit of help pressing down on it. The last one was pretty thirsty. Our mint growth medium was very, very thirsty. This one isn't as thirsty, but we're getting it there. Put the other glove on. All right. And I'll move our plant friend and our water to one side. And so you can see how it has absorbed now. And we want to put our seeds in our growth medium. So we're going to tap the package a little bit. Make sure all the seeds are down at the bottom, so when we pour them in, they can go in very easily, and we're not going to lose any friends in there, because that would be a shame. All right, and we've got our seeds, our basil seeds are quite big, a little bit bigger, actually quite a difference from our mint seeds. They're quite large. Can actually see them in there, and we're just going to pour them into our tin and then push down into the growth medium like we did before. And we want to get it all the way to the corners of the tin, which you can see there. Perfect. And then we are going to cover him with some plastic wrap as well. Same plastic wrap, just a new piece. And I've been taking a little bit more off than I probably need to, but I want to make sure it's well covered, because that is how we are going to get that moisture trapped in there and get a good growth on our plants, our new friends. Our last plant friend that we are going to be adding to the family is some lavender. And this plant is very good for the properties of calmness, and also is very representative of a regal or royal look with their purple plants. Lavender is very special to me. It's one of my favorite plants. I've attempted to grow it before with little success, unfortunately. However, we are going to try again, because who doesn't like a challenge? Okay. Inside our tin, we can see we have our seeds and our growth medium as before. Much like our mint seeds, these seeds are very small, So we'll have to be careful with them once we open the package. This tin is also a little bit larger than the ones we were using before because when the plant ends up growing inside the tin, it's going to need a little bit more room than our mint or our basil. I prepared our water for us, our 3/4 cup of water, so we can get that growth medium nice and moist for the seeds to have a home, grow, get strong, and then hopefully be able to have a nice lavender plant. I'll move our plant friend here up so I can undo this, and there we go. And pour that medium in right there. We can lean our seeds up against the empty glass, and then I'll put on my nice gloves that we've been using this whole time once again. So we can help that growth medium to absorb the water that we've given it. And we'll just give it a little bit of help. So you can hear that it sort of does absorb. And this one we might have to spread out a little bit because it is such a wide pot with such a small growth medium disc. So you're going to have to do a little bit more work than we might before to get this to spread out, but it's not as bad as you might think. And then we're starting to get that growth medium all spread out. So it is even. We have even distribution. For our plant, so we can give it the best possible chance to grow. Okay, let's tap our seeds. Make sure they're all at the bottom for when we open them. Rip that package open. I'm not sure we'll be able to see these either because they're quite tiny. Oh, they're a little bit bigger than the mint ones. Yep. So you can at least tell when they're all sort of out of the package. And we're going to look inside a little bit, make that a little bit, and it looks like they're gone. So we have all of our seeds here now. We're going to push this down, as we have done with our mint and our basil as well, and just distribute those seeds all across the length of the pot. So we want it to be really even. And spread out. That way when it springs up, it's also not on top of itself, because we don't ever want that. That's one of the things that's going to not allow our plants to grow very well. And then this one we are also going to cover with some plastic wrap. I'm going to try to use a little bit less than I did before. Getting a little bit too excited about the plastic wrap. And bring it over our tin cover it. And we want that seal to be nice and tight if possible, because that is what's going to keep in the moisture that this plant needs to grow nicely. And just like the other plants, we want to store it in a sunny location. Not too much sun, but enough to allow it to start blooming. Thank you for joining us for this special DIY episode of Ready, Set, Plant. Before we go, I would like to bring up our weird fact of the week for all of you, as we do at the end of every episode. Today's weird fact of the week is that, did you know there are more than 80,000 different edible kinds of plants on Earth? I didn't. How wonderful and interesting. Well, thank you for joining me for this very special episode. Please stay safe and healthy, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, my beautiful friends.